Welcome, you guys, to day 2 of Fueled by the Angels, Transforming Pain into Power and Purpose with Corinne Grillo. Make sure you guys are in a nice, quiet spot. Make sure you've got, a journal if you want to do some taking notes. Make sure you've got a drink handy, and Corinne will be on soon. Go ahead and pop in the chat. Let us know where you're from and what you most want to get out of the day. Welcome, loves, to day 2 of Fueled by the Angels, Transforming Pain into Power and Purpose with Corinne Grillo. Corinne will be on in just a minute, so go ahead and let us know that you're here in the chat. Say hey, grab a drink, get cozy. Corinne will be on in just a minute.
Hi guys, we're starting with the Mapacho today. This tobacco is called Nicotina rustica. So it's from this one is in particular is from Peru. We're starting off with it because I have been like so pissed today. I don't know about you guys. Anybody else rocking the stage of grief called the rage, anger? I'm doing it. I'm doing it full fledged, and kind of woke up like that. Good to see you guys, by the way. Jen, Drew, Gail. Hi, you guys. This is not wacky tobacco. Yeah, it's not a blunt tobacco. It's a little wacky. so, um, so today, you know what? Let me get my notes out. There's a lot to say. There's a lot to say. We don't have much time, so I got to try and like narrow it down, to its essentials. But it is Archangel Azrael, along with some other very interesting allies, some birds that came around, and so today we're going to do the stage with Archangel Azrael. He's going to do more teachings around death and purification. We're also going to talk about the Christ consciousness, and really kind of summing it up, like what it means for us today, how we're going to turn this pain into power. And it is rightly attached to rage as well. So, hi everybody. Good to see you guys. Let me know how you're doing today. Give me like a word or two about how you're feeling today. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. I loved reading through your comments yesterday. I can't always read them live, but I like to look back and check them out. So if you have, make sure to put some comments. And if I don't address them today, I will in a second. I'm so grateful that we're gathering today to talk about this really important time. And so this 3 days is really designed to help us get deeper wisdom about who we are, why we're here, and what we're going to do about this time. And so they had some very pointed wisdom to share with you guys today. And so first, I want to tell you about these bird allies that came to kind of quench our souls here. And Amber, do you have let's see, where are those? I just always have a hard time with these pictures. Let's see here. Oh, is that it? Can you guys see that?
Yeah, it's up.
Okay, good. All right. Is this the only one? Okay. So here's these are egrets, okay? So yesterday I was driving home and I saw 2 egrets. They're like white herons on the top of the trees, and I knew it was for us. So this is not the actual picture because I was driving when it happened, but it was so noticeable. These bright, pure white birds there. And so when I got home, I looked up what their meaning was. And, so the Great Spirit, our Creator, the angels, your ancestors always send us messages in nature. Like I mentioned yesterday, I'm just going to say the nature thing is so important right now, you guys, and being outside and getting that comfort. But it's fascinating what the message was, because it's very much along the lines of what we're doing today, which is the message was about taking a higher perspective, right? And making sure that you're seeing things from a high perspective, which is somewhat what we talked about yesterday, from taking ourselves from the wormhole view into the bigger picture. And this higher perspective, one of the medicines of this bird is about stillness and presence, being very present in your body. And it helps us seeing the struggles as opportunity for deeper clarity and growth. which is pretty amazing because I had already pulled a quote or a phrase that Kabbalists use. In Kabbalist, the Kabbalah and that ancient system is a Jewish mystical system. And one of the things that they say when they're confronting hard times is, "What a pleasure." When a hard chunky bit starts happening, they say, "What a pleasure." And it's a peculiar thing to say, right? But it's almost, a mystic understands beyond what's being presented is that everything is an opportunity, everything is a doorway for growth, expansion, and to go deeper with who you are. So yesterday we asked you the question, why are you here? Okay. Why are you here? And so every edgy situation can either fully take you down or it can bring you into deeper wisdom and communion with yourself and the spirit, right? With the allies that be. So what a pleasure, okay? What a pleasure over this last week, okay? It's a tough pill to swallow, but there's a purpose for this. It's not just spiritual bypassing, which I am not a huge fan of. We talked a lot about the darkness and how important it is for us to confront these dark portals, because we're at risk. All of us are at risk of avoiding, right? Avoiding the hard things. And then when too many of us avoid the hard things, which sensitives, you know, we're super guilty of disappearing when folks need us most, meaning we don't want to get involved in shit. We want to avoid social media. We don't want to be visible because people might attack us or something. And we kind of take a backseat and do the whole like wish, hope, and pray thing, which is a highly toxic stance to take at a time like this on the planet when there's so much at stake, especially in the United States, and it's happening actually all over the world. Um, but we need more of us really out there, and and an ally like this bird can help us be poised. Okay, stay poised and present, and so that you can listen to instruction, you can listen to the deeper voice inside of you beyond the butthurt voice and the afraid voice, and even beyond the angry voice. It's not just about why you're here, it's also about what you're going to fucking do about it. And until we get real clear on, it's not about sitting back in the sidelines, right? It has to be, what is my role here? What is my piece? And I mentioned yesterday, we don't have to do it all, okay? We just have to do our part. But you have to understand your why in order to maybe get a hint on what part of your part is. Um, and so I really want to impress upon you through the power of this great heavy that's coming through, like Archangel Azrael, that it is so important for us to dig deeper in our inner resources. And I think this is why they're stressing the devotion to the higher power, because sometimes when you're out of inner resources, there's only one thing left. And when that connection is made, the deep presence of the Great Spirit inside of you, when you really kind of embody this and you just walk squarely towards it, meaning you don't run away from your intuitive gifts. As a matter of fact, you lean towards them. Um, you don't run away from your potential power. A lot of you guys are just already super magical people, but you haven't quite fully claimed it and owned it. And you know, we need a lot more people claiming and owning their medicine and their magic. And I mean it very I don't mean it metaphorically. I mean, magic is real. We can change the weather. We can do a lot of shit. You guys probably have some secret abilities you don't even say out loud, okay? But the more of us that kind of own our magic and we gather together in a community of magical people, the more that we discover that magic. So, if you're a magical human, we need you, and we need you to not be disoriented. We need you to be strong, and so today is going to help move besides our pain. uh, Today we're working on converting it into power. Okay, this means the rage, because rage is just, underneath the rage is a bunch of hurt and sadness. um, but for me, I think what, part of my trigger is I was reading some of the plans of um, the next administration in the United States and who's on the docket to get appointed to some of these really fucking important offices like attorney general and running the health and um, the plans to cut just so much of our lifelines, so many lifelines, like possible plans to cut student loans and things like that. So when an administration says we're going to gut the government, a lot of Americans are like, yeah, fuck the government, but they don't really understand what that actually means. What that means for our kids that are going hungry. What it means for our ability to get access to really good education, and for all of us to be able to get that education, not just the rich kids. So it impacts the rest of the 90% greatly. And that is really what pisses me off is it's one thing to have a president, but then you just really want amazing, competent leaders in these massive leadership positions. And so I'm fucking pissed. I'm pissed about that because I care about the 90%, and I care about the health of our shit. I'm going to start crying. Of all of us. And I do a lot of reading. I don't watch a lot of news. And I study a lot of history and political history. And, what I'm saying is not based on algorithms, okay? It's my own research. And also I'm an academic, so I know how to research. And I like research. I like reading and stuff. And from a variety of sources, which is why diversity is so important, you guys. Like, we all have to chime in. Anyways, on my soapbox, trying to get off of it. I don't want to make this about politics, but I'm just kind of showing you an example of whatever it is that's triggering you, okay, about life in general, or if it's the bigger picture. Shouldn't I have cried yesterday? But this is the point. Our rage is attached to the hurts, to the possibilities. I'm really fucking pissed that, and it's every person that I know, okay? I have family members that voted for this president coming up, right? And it's so infuriating when I can't get facts back. I get sound bites that have been heard, but not facts. And this disturbs me because we just need to all just know how to educate ourselves, so that we don't get swept up in these blatant kind of falsities, and there's ways to do that. So we're going to talk a little bit more about thanks for being my therapist, you guys, just now, okay? But this emotion, it's raw, and underneath the rawness is the emotional body is so fucking powerful, okay? So we were taught that crying is a sign of weakness. I know that I was taught that. As a matter of fact, I broke up with a boyfriend once when I was 17 because he saw me cry once, okay? So I'm not going to break up with you guys, all right? But if we don't do something about it, okay, something significant, these times are really calling those of us who are very much concerned and aligned, and it's not about winning or losing. Nobody wins when we have been divided, okay? We're not going to win if we continue to believe that our siblings are the problem, okay? It's always the propaganda, which when you look at history, this is how This is how, Nazi Germany did their thing. This is how they convinced a bunch of people that it was a good idea to do what they did. It was propaganda, it wasn't the truth. So this is, part of my query is how do we find better methods of educating ourselves and educating each other and disarming the division, and really look at what's possible about what can go on with certain administrators in charge. And so I want to show you a picture before I get into the next piece. Amber, can we show the next picture? So this picture here, and Suzanne, emotional roller coaster. Yes, it releases the pressure valve. Okay. A lot of us want to suppress these feelings, but they're not to be suppressed. I would say they're to be alchemized into power. Okay. And how do we defeat, the enemy? Not the enemy of people, not people. The enemy is not people. The enemy is the psyche of people. And when they don't have control over their fight or flight mechanism, they get disrupted. They get hijacked. Their minds, their psyches are easily seduced into fear based shit as opposed to informed shit, highly informed shit. So, how does our mind not get hijacked by this fool or that fool, right? Because it's all a bunch of fools. This is really what the kind of the Christ consciousness is. And I know that's a heavy word to use, Christ, quote unquote, consciousness. I'm not talking about specifically Jesus. I'm just talking about this activated heart, this activated mind, which a lot of you guys have exploded in your heart consciousness, right? You're more loving, more sensitive, more aware of the undercurrents of energy, and you know the difference between what love feels like and what propaganda feels like. You know the difference between right and wrong on a whole other level, because right and wrong has nothing to do with what we were taught. Right or wrong has to come from our internal moral compasses. And when we lose contact with our internal moral compasses, we can believe that that our religion is the belief of this great master, when it's really a weaponized tool. It's become a weaponized tool. Some religions have become, or aspects or segments or sects of religion always eventually will become a weaponized tool. So how do we extract ourselves and actually become independent, right? Independent and connected to our true essence that, as Osriel says, is connected to the portal of death. And I wanted to give you a real clear reason, a way to really look at this. This was another picture I took when I was outside praying. And you'll see this cross. You see that cross that the light is making? So this cross is a representation of the Christ consciousness that is here. And it comes through the sun. The sun, S-O-N, is another word for the sun, S-U-N. So before the religion, Christianity in particular, was formed, it was the sun that they were worshiping, the actual sun, because there was Christ's energy in there. There's the illuminator that's there. But in order for us to really connect with this particular vibe, we have to be willing to let go of, we have to be willing to die. They started talking about, hey, you're dead yesterday, right? And I wasn't quite sure where that was headed. But, today it's about the symbol of, in a way, the cross and this rise of consciousness that's happening. And for us to really understand our own essence and our own will. Yesterday I asked, what's your why? And today we're saying, what are you going to do? It's like why and now what? What are you going to do? And this divine child, okay, so the cross, when we think of Jesus, we think about resurrection. but the cross is a symbol of death, right? Jesus is dead on the cross, not his resurrected self. So they're giving us this mystery of, in order for the resurrected self, something significant has to die. Something significant has to be sacrificed or offered to the Great Spirit. So then, what is being called of you to sacrifice? You know, so many of us have lost a lot of people, including family members, to some of these, kind of toxic, propagandized, weaponized ways of thinking about each other and about the world. And, um, what are you willing to sacrifice for your work, for your why? Some people can't even sacrifice the basic things. They won't even invest anything in themselves, won't invest in education. We're never taught that that's actually a good value to invest in an education. They won't invest in even their time to do something creative, to let their soul sing, you know? Um, and so, with this rage or this sadness or this confusion, a way that you can work with that portal, work with that energy, is to say, what a pleasure, right? What a fucking pleasure, all right? And then, how can I, in a way, see, because they say what a pleasure because it's a chance for you to see who you are, what you're made out of, okay? Is this reaction a trauma response, or is it information coming from the emotional body for you to engage more? Does that emotion want to drive you to disappear more? And again, how do we gain resilience? Is what they said was through activism. Sacred activism is what they called it. And we talked a little bit about Jesus and Buddha yesterday, and really all the greats. When you look at the saints, the people, those who were named as the special holy people, as emissaries of the light, they were all rebels. Okay, they did not look or walk or act like the usual folk, and 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 that's what activism is about. Really, it's about becoming yourself, your most self in your biggest truth, right? Um, and so this activism, what does activism mean to you? Uh, it's not about a bunch of like liberal hippies, okay? It's about again, anchoring so deeply into your pain, into your authenticity, and showing up differently. Letting yourself do those things that maybe are a little controversial. Sometimes maybe they're controversial to your family if you're going to come out as a psychic medium, right? And you come from a bunch of like, I don't know, Mennonites or something, right? It's awkward. It can be awkward. But this pain, when it's purified, so today we're going to work on the purification part because death is purification, okay? And that's what's so cool about those birds coming, is that this purifying force, this, I showed you the pictures yesterday of this wonderful these great benevolent beings descending by our call, just from our prayers. But why are they coming? And one of the answers is not just to give you messages, it's to help purify your metal, to help temper yourself so that you can be a stronger knife, if you will, to cut through the bullshit, to be a voice of truth, right? No one is going to respect folk like you and me until we respect ourselves, until you respect who you came here to be, okay? I was doing a really respectful thing as a psychotherapist. I walked down a path where ain't nobody thought that I would be doing what I was doing when I started talking about angels. How many naysayers did I come across? All of them. Everybody was like, no, from my family to whoever I told is just like, what the fuck are you doing? You're going to, what? You're going to quit your private practice and focus on talking to folks online about angels. Okay, it's stupid, for most accounts, especially back then. It wasn't nearly as like out there as it is now online. So stupid officially. Um, but that was the sacred walk I was to do. That was my form of activism. Um, and so Jesus was not, and neither was Buddha, a pacifist. The whole turn your other cheek thing. No, he was not a pacifist. So we want to, when we're talking about love and the presence of love and this deep presence of compassion, okay, we talked about the death portal. So one of the images that you guys will know about is the image of the Grim Reaper, okay? You know how the Grim Reaper, the spirit of death, according to that tradition, carries that big scythe, right? So a big act of compassion is having a blade, okay, and cutting shit, cutting heads off if you need to. Um, it's not a passive thing. Your harvest, right? Harvest time is not, wow, sitting back and looking at the fields and looking from afar. You have to get in there and actually clip the fruit. And the whole time when you're growing your crops, you have to stay in there with a blade, cut out the disease that's infested. And too many of us have went to sleep, and it's especially not time to sleep right now. As we have to get more into the nitty gritty than we were before. Like the fact that I'm so politically aware is a fucking miracle in and of itself, because I used to be tapped out, you know. I know more about the three branches of legislation than ever, which is another concern. Um, because I know too much now about how the government works. And um, and so it's not a passive act to be a conscious being, you know? Um, and the more that you get into the inner teacher, the guide on the inside, the inner genius, the more it begins to instruct you. It gets harder and harder. Okay. It doesn't get easier and easier. I mentioned this yesterday. The death portal is real. You have to consistently let yourself die in order to be resurrected in a new way. So, yesterday they told us about this cut off little heart of ours, thank God. Um, but this is all preparation for your personal revolution and your personal resurrection, whatever that means to you. You know, when I say you're in the process of dying so that you can be resurrected, what does that mean for you? Like, what are you working on in your life that needs a renewal? And the purification is so sweet. It's so wonderful what they're going to bring to you today. And also, there's that edge, there's that knife that also has to come with it, which is purify you today. But if you don't stay boundaried in your words, boundaried with the amount of shit you're willing to tolerate in your space, um, and boundaried with what you're allowing in your communities on the governmental level, you have to watch that shit, especially now. Watch what kind of legislation is getting passed. And if you don't like it, we have to grassroots up. Call your representatives, your senators, your House of like, if you don't know who those people are, get them on the horn now. Figure out who those people are, because when some of these things that they try to legislate the way that they're planning, most of us, like I said, aren't going to like it. But if we're not paying attention, we're not going to be able to fight it if it's coming down the pipeline. So we all have to get on the same page, because most of us are on the same page when it comes to some of these things. Most of us want the same things, and we're against most of the same things, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. So please do watch all of that. Okay, that is my activism right now. Me telling you to make sure the laws that are getting passed, watch that shit, please. Okay, more of us need to be watching this stuff, because it's going to get more and more relevance. Okay, so that is my righteous activism here. It's awkward because I don't necessarily like bringing politics into these talks, but really this is why we're having this talk in the first place, because of what's going on. And I don't want to be at risk of people thinking I'm just a pacifist about this shit, because we have to find our peace first. We have to feel anchored. So you have to feel anchored in your why and your what. And we have to start somewhere, but you can't if you can't find your own compass. Um, and if you don't know the route that you stand on, and that route is your why. Why are you here? And what are you going to do about it? Today's what are you going to do about it? And using that gritty, nasty shit, what a pleasure. And now use it as rocket fuel. We've never needed more fire, um, as we do now. For fuck's sake, I'm like 52. You know, it's like we don't have much time left, so we have to start creating the world that we need now. And it starts with the laws, not just with prayer. It starts with advocating for each other, for our trans siblings, or people of color, or freaking women. It's like everybody right now. Okay, it's everybody's under siege in certain ways, right? Rights are getting stripped away, or there's hate campaigns going on towards really innocent, vulnerable populations, and it's just like such serious bullshit. And I just can't stop myself, from talking about it. But that's what anger does, um, and sadness and real concern. You know, so everybody take a few breaths with me. And I want you to really feel into not just your why, but your what. What does activism mean for you? What is being called of you? Because activism, for me, like that first step, was just learning more about my intuition, developing and honing in my craft as far as listening to the guidance that I was being guided to take. And I know a lot of you have heard that story, but for fuck's sake, it never gets old. How many leaps of faith I took to get here to talk to you is extraordinary. Extraordinary. Because I'm not a like center of attention kind of gal, okay? Kind of low key. So what's being called of you, please fucking do it. All right? And don't doubt it. Do your best not to doubt it. A lot of us just need basic skills and listening to the inner voice and following that instruction and having support and community to follow us, which by the way, I am currently looking for students for the Angel Alchemy Academy, which is my intuitive healing training. It's a different kind of spiritual container because there's not a lot of folks that are teaching from I don't know, just a integrated place, I guess, where the shadows allowed, honesty is allowed. We are allowed to be imperfect. So if you know that part of your path is to be a healer, um, if that's part of your path, and that you want to deepen your intuition, you want to hear this inner compass louder, brighter, and get validated in that, please look into that training. Join us over there. I can talk about it more later or tomorrow. But if you have questions about it, just let me know. I forget what my. Oh, we have some people who took it. A lot of people. Actually, a lot of people took it here. Now that I've seen your names, right? Yeah. So if you took the training, you guys, isn't it? It's wonderful that so I'm seeing so many names here. A lot of you guys have taken that training. Thank you, guys. I mean, if that's not a testimony to our love and support from our community, thank you guys for being here. Um, but please do. We're still going to work with today and tomorrow, but I want you to actually think about that if you haven't taken this class, if this could be one of the reasons why you're listening in today, okay? Because this shit is serious, you guys. This shit is serious. I'm looking forward to our next community. We have a nice, diverse crew that shows up, and we have some pretty good talks. So, sacred activism. Oh, thank you, Drew. It's life changing. Thank you, Nom. Absolutely amazing, Diane said. Thank you, guys. I did not hire them to be here. I love it. Tell me what sacred activism means for you right now. I want to see it in the chat room. I want you to really commit to this question. What does sacred activism mean for you right now? And you may be a little far, too soon. Like you might see it, but you have some steps to get you there. The key is seeing it. I saw that I was going to be speaking internationally about a year or two before I started making the change. I didn't understand it, comprehend it. And I kept on like getting the wisdom, like, you're going to have a career change. And I'm like, fuck you guys. I just spent tens of thousands of dollars to become a therapist. I'm not changing my damn career. How stupid would that be? Again, stupid, stupid, stupid. That's what I thought. The best thing I ever did. Not really, not the absolute best. There's been a few other things I've done. They're freaking kick ass. But okay, shine the light in the dark. Thank you. Speaking, no, I'm saying speaking for the divine, healing through speaking and empowering. Thank you. Live your purpose in the world. It changed. Oh, Jen, it changed your life. Oh, that's so great. Anushka saying, showing up as the calm in the storm. Oh, and Diane saying, take the training if you can. Thank you. She said, no shit. Really? It changed my life. No shit. Really? That's what she said. Yeah, these people are super badasses. Stephanie, good to see you, Stephanie. Oh my God. And Lynn saying, best investment. You guys, if you have any questions, check the comments, okay? About if I'm just legit, okay? I've been doing this shit for, I don't know now, 8 or 9 years training people all over the world in this shit. And people are just so next level. The people who are coming in more and more are so next level, so powerful, so inspiring, really. So I want to see more. Okay. Sacred activism. What does that mean? If you watched yesterday, you know your why, but now it's what? What are you going to do about it? And so the allies are coming in now, Archangel Azrael. And he's wanting me to clarify more about death. Of course, it's Archangel Azrael. I want you to really hear what I'm saying if you haven't heard me say this before. Understanding your end, knowing this is one thing we all have in common. We're all going to die. Like, really, that body of yours is temporary. Pachamama, Mother Earth, she's going to take that shit back pretty soon, okay? The more we come to grips with this, the more love that you can have for others and for yourself, for the people in your house and for your animals. The more that you understand that every fucking thing is temporary. Like, I'm going to die soon, okay? I now look forward to it. I used to be more afraid of it. But to take my place on the ancestral tree, I can't wait until I grow up. You know, I can't wait for that. It's going to be exciting. But for now, I'm here. You're here. And it's temporary. So looking squarely in the eyes of death, it becomes less scary. It can become such a beautiful thing. And it can be the activator for you to free you up, to do more interesting things with your life, to take more risks, you know, to enter into love relationships in a whole different way, to let yourself do that thing, whatever it is. There's a lot of people who hold back their queerness because their parents are going to understand, or like, you know, whatever it is, who holds back their desire to live life differently in extraordinary ways that most people wouldn't understand. All of that, you have to take a real close look at death in order to know what's important. Okay, love is important. Living a life with less regrets is important, and being more fierce, you know, more fearless. What's there to fear when you know you're going to die anyways? You're just going to die. We're all going to die anyway. So you might as well fucking live while you're still alive. And part of that is putting your neck on the line a little bit, on the chopping block, on behalf of whatever it is that your activation is for, whatever you're activating for. And Lisa saying, I found that I am in a beautiful position to plant seeds of compassion to those who are leaning away from love right now. merely because of the field I work in. Very blue collar. Yeah, love the blue collar. Yes. Lean in with love, lean in with compassion. Um, Hell yes. And Gnome saying you'll be another person after the Angel Alchemy Academy. Will have deep roots of understanding yourself. Corinne will liberate you. Oh, I will. That's so great. I'll get my side out and be like, okay, binds are off, guys. The binders are off. Okay. I am not the liberator. I'm just a fucking clown who goes blah, blah, blah. And then the spirit comes and we get washed away, so which we're about to do right now. So with all that edgy shit, it's so fun to be able to have angel talks and just mostly just show your edge. It's wonderful. The liberation, right? Because fuck it. What else are we doing if we're not showing up all the way? What else are we doing? Gotta stop pretending, you guys. So, Archangel Azrael, thank you for a little death teaching. Surprising couple of days, really. But the spirit of compassion is really that. It stands on the threshold of death. And for some reason, this is a really important portal for these 3 days, is to encounter death, to be, I think, renewed, right? Death first, then resurrection. So whatever it is that you're clinging to, again, they're showing me now your belly. I'm seeing little puppet strings. So everybody take a deep breath and we're going to revere the great spirit above. Open up, remember yesterday, the hands and the heart? We're going to open those up triple wide today. Because yesterday they started with, transforming, surrendering that pain so that it can be transformed. And today now they're purifying the vessel and purifying the cup, which is in a way your soul, your heart, your mind, he's showing me. And I want you to close your eyes and imagine that you're facing west. And as you face west, there's this vast ocean, okay? I want you to get a sense of this vast ocean. And a couple of egrets flying over to us and swirling above your head, okay? High up, swirling about your head. The great emissaries of the egrets, thank you. Spirits of the West and purifiers. Great Spirit of the West, Archangel Azrael, and creator of all that is, along with all the other purifiers. We are ready. We're ready. We welcome your purification. We welcome your great waters. And to the great mother who stands in the cosmos with the cosmic waters, we welcome those purifying waters into our minds, into our hearts, into our bellies. Please wash away these old threads and strings. Wash away my judgments. And in exchange, bring power, life force. Take a few breaths with me because they're about to call in some of your life force from the other side. Interesting. They're showing part of our life force that we leave over on the other side until it comes in handy, almost, until we're ready for it. So the Great Spirit is offering us these gifts for being courageous. They're saying for the courage, they're honoring the courage that each of you have to really show up in life, to be here in life, and to be here at this time on the planet. They're saying none of that is a coinky dink. All right, that was me translating, but none of that is a coincidence. You're here not by accident, and it's up to us to really own and reclaim the power that was gifted to us, that we are meant to bring into this world, to, I would say, exploit this power at this stage, to shine this light in the darkness so much brighter and in different ways than anything that we can imagine. And I want to leave that mystery open. And I want you to say out loud, yes, Great Spirit, yes, God, whatever name you call it by, I'm ready to shine my light in surprising ways I can't even comprehend. Set me on my journey now. Set me on my journey now. I'm ready to shine my light in ways I can't even freaking comprehend. So mind-blowing. And we welcome this purifying force inside of our bodies and psyches and our souls to make space for it. To make space for the illuminated one. The one that is attached to this Christ consciousness inside of you. The illuminated one who rises and resurrects inside of each person, including me and you. And the stronger that we become, when one of us rises into this consciousness, when one of us just gets a fucking hint and starts sharing, it rises all of our boats. You may be able to feel the warmth coming to your belly. Take a few breaths. Welcome in the Great Spirit. Open up your arms. Rise up. Take them up to the heavens. Receive this gift, this bounty, this wealth in extraordinary ways that's coming to you through the great purifying force of that which is almost undefinable. But the answer is yes. You may purify me. Take off my limbs, take off my legs, take my ears, take my mouth. I don't even care anymore. Just purify me. Doesn't matter. Great Spirit, you know what's best for me. Purify it. I don't even care anymore. Take it away. To make me whole in this life, in this body. To bring consciousness to this life, this body, so that I can cause a wake of love, a wake of compassion, a wake of understanding, a wake of wisdom, a wake of healing, a wake of inspiration and potential. We say yes. Purify me. You guys say it out loud. Purify me. I don't even care. Just do it. The answer is yes. So that I can, and we can all be resurrected. In this body, in this life, now. Tell Great Spirit, I'm ready for it. I'm ready. And I'm willing to do whatever the fuck it takes. With conviction, you guys. It's one thing that the illuminated beings had. Conviction. All right? Walk with conviction in your activism, whatever that means for you. I want you to really think about that today. Contemplate what that means. Walk with conviction with your own sacred activism, whatever that looks like. We all have different reasons for being here. And we are blessed by the Spirit and getting to know the great compassionate one who stands in the west. The spirit of death, Archangel Azrael, thank you for helping us with our grief and the different ways that we grieve. We ask that you keep transmuting it to bring us deeper into our purpose. And that's what tomorrow's about. Tomorrow's more about honing into your purpose, what that even means, in entirely new ways. So, thank you, Great Spirit. Let that water wash all the way down into the ground, you guys. Let it flush all the way through you. Don't let it stop at your feet or at your butt cheeks. Let it run all the way through you down to the earth, and let that water bless the earth beneath you. Today, you guys, I want you to walk, when you're outside, walk very slowly and deliberately. As a matter of fact, if you're not outside, or if you can, after this, go outside, walk very deliberately, as if every foot you're giving a blessing to the earth. And go into inquiry. Ask the Great Spirit to continue to purify you. Okay? Water is a good idea. Take a sacred bath today. Keep washing so we can purify and dissolve the bullshit and get to the power. All right? Purify me, right? Love you guys. So tomorrow is a special day. And the angel, what's the Angel Alchemy Academy website? Amber, are you still there? What's the website in case people, did we put it in there already? I forgot to say it out loud. Oh, wow, you're fast. Angel Alchemy Certification.com. Damn, she's good. I love you, Amber. Thank you. Talk about having our backs, you guys. We got so much support out there. All right. By the way, all right. Hate to be a Debbie Downer, but day two, it's kind of like the trilogy of like, I guess Star Wars. The second one, what was that? The Empire Strikes Back, right? Got a little dark. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow because it's Return of the Jedi. So let's see what we got going on. The Jedis are coming back, my loves. We'll see you tomorrow, same time for day 3. Oh, thank you guys so much for all